Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea, and this is a companion video. What are companion videos? Well, I'm awfully glad that you asked. See, every day on the John Campea Show, Monday through Friday, we stream live at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We save time for some live questions. However, we don't always have time to get around to all the live questions that get sent in, but I want to make sure if you sent in a question, they get answered properly in a video, so I gather them up and we address them here on companion videos. Now, I am... just let you guys know, for those of you who watch Open Mic on Saturday and Sunday, normally we do open mic shows on Saturday and Sunday. There will not be an open mic this Saturday. Just letting you know right now, I am leaving tomorrow afternoon after the John Campea Show tomorrow. I'm going to be getting in the car, driving out to Vegas, because every year I go and play in the World Series of Poker. So I'm going to go play in a tournament up there at the World Series of Poker this year. I do it once a year, but do not worry, I'll be back Sunday for open mic on Sunday, just no open mic this Saturday, okay? There you go. All right, and make sure you guys follow me on social media because I'm going to be updating my progress and everything while I'm playing there. So follow me along. All right, let's get into catching up on the questions. We're going to get things started here with Darth Impact, who writes, I just found out that Emily Blunt, you probably meant Emily Blunt, was supposed to play Black Widow in Iron Man 2, but was contracted to do Gulliver's Travels. Yikes. I don't know if she was supposed to do it or if she was just like being very seriously looked at to do it and then her previous commitments got in the way. I can't remember how far along it got. Like, I don't know if it was as far as long as Tom Selleck was supposed to play Indiana Jones. And that was set, and then things came up and he couldn't do it because of Magnum PI. I don't know if that's the same situation with Emily Blunt, but hey, look, she would have been a great Black Widow. Absolutely, she would have been fabulous. But I'm sure we will all agree that, why am I freezing on the name of Scarlett Johansson? Why did I freeze on Scarlett's name? That Scarlett Johansson has been more than good as Black Widow. I think we can all agree on that. All right, Jamie Tarrant Boyce writes, I saw Aladdin. It was great. As you say, it's not on the same level as Endgame, etc., but it's not meant to be, in my opinion. It's just a good, fun time at the cinema. Music numbers were great with some really funny, jam-tastic scenes. I'll tell you what, Jamie, I'm completely in agreement with you. Completely in agreement. You guys know my expectations were low. I thought there were some pretty bad signs, especially the fact that Disney held off the review embargo till the day before the movie came out. That's never a good sign. So I don't know that they had a lot of confidence in this movie. And if you're not going to show confidence in your movie, why should I be confident in your movie, right? But I'll tell you what, I had a great time. Again, not top 10, probably not top 15 best movie of the year. But was it enjoyable? Yes. Was it entertaining? Yes. Will Smith, which is, I think, what most people were most concerned about, was Will Smith being Genie. Almost everybody agrees he's one of the best things about the movie. It was really entertaining, a lot of fun. I'm glad you liked it, Jamie, because I liked it too. All right, Bob Lewis writes, John, does Disney own the rights to the first Power Rangers movie since they bought 20th Century Fox? I don't know because of this. I don't know if 20th Century Fox was just the distributor for that movie, or if they owned the rights to that movie, to the production of that movie. I don't know. Because it all now, as of right now, Power Rangers belongs to Hasbro. But who owned the movie rights at the time when that Fox movie came out? I don't know. I don't know if Fox were the actual rights holder or Fox were just the distribution rights holder and they got to distribute the film and put it out under the Fox banner. Of that, I simply don't know the answer, unfortunately. But a lot of people forget the rights to make a movie and the rights to distribute the movie are two separate sets of rights. And quite often they belong to different people. Hence, we have the whole mess between the MCU, Hulk, and Universal right now. So there you go. Sujith writes, at a theater now, watching Aladdin in India. It's intermission time. I keep forgetting you guys have intermissions. That's awesome. Just want to say Naomi Scott is a good half Indian kid, LOL. Loving it so far. I've always liked Naomi Scott. I shouldn't say always, but in the last couple of years, I've developed a real appreciation for Naomi Scott. I actually quite liked her in that Power Rangers movie. And she's really good in Aladdin. I liked her. And that song of hers, Speechless, I think it's called. Anyway, it's great. She's wonderful in it. Really enjoy her. All right, Pixar Fanification writes, when are you going to Galaxy's Edge? I'm going to the new Star Wars land, Galaxy's Edge at Disney in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We've booked our hotel. We've got our time slot set, all that kind of stuff. 2 weeks. And I'll let you guys know how that goes. K Major goes, my biggest issue with Godzilla 2014 was the fact that it billed Bryan Cranston and he was in it for like 15 minutes. That really pissed me off. I really liked him. Yeah, that was the complaints for a lot of people. The two, obviously the biggest complaint for Godzilla 2014 was the fact that it's called Godzilla, and Godzilla is really not much in the movie. That bothered a lot of people. The second biggest complaint, though, was that they really did market it as if Bryan Cranston was in a big chunk of the movie, and he really wasn't, and that really turned some people off. Isaac Beebe writes, John, the Rambo Last Blood trailer just dropped. Actually, we talked about that on the show this morning. That was one of our first topics. I really enjoyed it. Now, I don't know that it was my favorite. Like, my favorite trailer that dropped this morning was the Dark Crystal trailer. But I really did like that Rambo Last Blood trailer. It's got a Logan kind of feel, and I mean that in a good way. It's got a bit of a Logan feel to it. I'm looking forward to this movie. I have been for a long time, but yeah, I like the trailer a lot. All right, Luke1234 writes, seems the Terminator sequels have been trying to replicate the success of T2, sci-fi and action, and failing. Want to see them go back to the T1 style of sci-fi horror? I don't know. The problem hasn't been the style. That's not the problem. The problem just is that they haven't executed a good movie since James Cameron wasn't directing them anymore. That's the problem. So if you don't have the right people making the movie, it doesn't matter if you do sci-fi action or if you do sci-fi horror. It's not going to make it any better. It's all about executing a good movie. If they go with the sci-fi horror and execute, great. If they go with the sci-fi action and execute, great. But if it didn't work in one, it's not going to work in the other. Now, I will admit, it would be interesting to see them go back to that horror kind of aspect of it, but I don't know that they can market that as well right now. People kind of have a perception, I think, of the Terminator films as an action franchise, and that might be what they're going for. But again, I don't think just switching which subgenre you're going for is going to make it better if you're not going to execute it right in the first place. The Hero writes, theory, Palpatine is going to use Skywalker clones. I guess anything's possible. I don't want to get too hooked on the whole cloning thing. I think a lot of people are really hung up on that, and I don't want to get there, but hey, it's a possibility. I don't think that's where they're going to go, but it's definitely a possibility. Enrique305 writes, if you're able to have one friend in elementary and knowing their powers, would you choose Kid, Clark, Bruce, Arthur, or Diana? Oh, that's easy. Bruce. He's rich. I mean, if I'm a kid in elementary school, I want to be best friends. If I got to choose between them, I'm choosing the dude who's got all the toys. That's who I'm choosing. Clark lives on a farm. No thanks. Arthur lives in a lighthouse. Nah. Diana's still probably back on Themyscira. No thanks. I want to be a best friend with the rich kid. If I have to pick between those, that's the kid I'm picking to hang out with. All right. Isaac Beebe. Oh, that's right. Isaac Beebe sent in something, but it was pretty much a spoiler for Godzilla. So, because he was repeating something that's in Godzilla that's not in the trailers, I thought it might be a spoiler. So, when I noticed it earlier, I don't often read through everything before we do companion videos, but I did notice that earlier today, and so I had to remove it, Isaac. So my apologies for that, but you did put in a little bit of a spoiler for Godzilla. I'm sure it wasn't on purpose, though. Sure it wasn't on purpose. All right, Lone Wolf X6 writes, let them fight. Again, going back to Godzilla 2014, but probably the best moment is when Ken Watanabe says, let them fight. It became an iconic line. Ant Banks 1984 writes, have you seen the Star Wars reimagined video fight Better Vader? You probably mean between Vader and Obi-Wan. It's pretty neat and entertaining. Yeah, we've actually talked about it on the show a couple of times. I can't remember the name of it, but basically they do a little bit of recreation, put in a little bit of special effects, and shoot it in a way that a modern action scene would kind of be made. And I thought it was really neat. I mean, some pretty bad visual effects, but that's fine. They're not a Hollywood studio. I thought the reimagining of it was actually pretty neat. I enjoyed it, actually. Lone Wolf FX6 writes, lately I've been thinking, do you think I'm the devil because, oh, this is from Lucifer. Do you think I'm the devil because I'm inherently evil? Or just because Dero Dad decided I was? Lucifer Morningstar. Guys, listen, if you're not watching Lucifer, you got to get on that. I love this show so much. Season 4 on Netflix. Thank you again to Netflix for saving it. Please make a season 5. All right. Lone Wolf X6 writes, my mom's, another Lucifer line. My mom's going to kill me. And before you say it, that's not a metaphor. She's literally going to kill me. She's not the forgiving type. Of course, that's Lucifer. And in the show Lucifer, his mother is the goddess of creation. His father is God. His mother is God's wife. Yes, in Lucifer, God had a wife. Interesting. You got to see the show to see how it plays out. It's pretty cool. All right. Caveman Reviews writes, have you seen the man that killed... No, Sam Elliott. Have you seen the man that killed Hitler and then Bigfoot? If so, what do you think? No, I have not seen it, but I've actually been salivating to watch it. It's got, what's his name? Ron Livingston from Office Space, Sam Elliott, and I don't know what the gist is. He's some kind of immortal, I guess. I don't know. Who killed Hitler during the World War II, and now they send him after Bigfoot. I don't know everything about the film, but I've been kind of drooling to watch it. It looks like crazy dumb fun, but I haven't seen it yet. I'll let you know once I do, because it does look interesting. If you guys haven't seen the trailer for it, look up the trailer for The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot, and then tell me you don't want to watch that, because I think you will. All right, Sir Ivan Bennett writes, great Marvel soundtracks, Black Panther, Winter Soldier, X-Men The First Class, and Ant-Man. Yes, Ant-Man. I don't really notice the scores and stuff like that in Marvel films too much. I found them generally, the one in Black Panther was outstanding. I'll actually say this, Endgame's a better movie, but I think the score in Black Panther is better. And everybody's praising the score in Endgame, rightfully so, because it's good. It's real good. I actually prefer the score in Black Panther more. I think the score in Black Panther is just that damn good. I really, really love it. All right, let's move on here. Nat Zigri writes, would love to write music for you, just saying. Well, as a film reviewer, I don't have a lot of need for music, but if I'm ever making another movie again or anything like that, I'll put it out on social media that I'm looking for people for music. Keep in mind and let me know, man. Josie C. Diaz writes, should Disney make a sequel for Aladdin? It's interesting because I don't want to give any spoilers away. Had they ended the live action Aladdin the way that the animated movie ended, I'd say, yeah, there are ways to do a sequel to that. However, if you've seen Aladdin, and I'm not going to give away what it is specifically, if you've seen Aladdin, you know that they actually end the live action Aladdin a little bit differently than the animated Aladdin. And the way they ended the live action Aladdin, I'm not quite sure how you do a sequel. Now, don't get me wrong. If they said they were going to do it, okay, I'm down because I enjoyed the first one. So I'd be down, but I just don't know how you do it. So I think they're probably just going to leave it alone. But I'd be down for it. I'd sure be down for it. Jason Bell writes, pardon me. Let me just make sure I'm in the right spot. I am. Jason Bell writes, John, you would really hate Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now because Golson is now a villain. All right, well, there you go. I mean, you guys know me. I love the MCU. I love Marvel, all that kind of stuff. I have never liked Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I kept trying to watch it because of Clark Gregg, and I love Clark Gregg. So I keep watching it because of him. But when we got to the end of last season, I tapped out. I couldn't take it anymore. You'd have to have Clark Gregg on every second of the show for me to watch it. Because he's the only thing well, and Ming-Na is great too, but apparently, so now he's a villain. Well, yeah, so I'm glad I haven't started watching this season. I'll probably never watch it. No offense to anybody who does enjoy it. If you enjoy it, that's great, but I've tried to like it. It's just, I just can't take it anymore. All right, Christopher Mason writes, Sony could have Spider-Man movie, add Venom through multiverse that could play more in line with Marvel's universe. This is one of the reasons why I hate multiverse, because it's just stupid. Suddenly start doing all this stuff that you shouldn't be able to do. If you're going to put Venom in his movie, put Venom in his movie. Don't start pulling the BS lazy man. Oh, it's Venom from Earth 2156B. I hate that. It's so lazy and dumb. I hate it. So I think they're either going to put Venom in or they're not going to. And frankly, I don't think they're going to. I could see why Sony would want them to, because that would promote their Sonyverse, but I don't think they're going to do that. And I really want them to get rid of this whole multiverse bull. It's stupid. It's garbage. I hated it ever since I was a kid reading comics. It's one of the reasons a bunch of people got out of comics. But it's fine if you want to set it up temporarily. I just hope they close off this multiverse nonsense pretty quick. Let me try this. Amartya Archarya writes, I'm sure I butchered your name, I apologize. What if John Connor is dead or has a disease like, say, Cable, and is being looked after by the T-800? Then he is dead or has a disease like Cable is being looked after the T-800. Guys, if you're going to ask, I have to remind everybody this, if you're going to ask a what if question, actually put in a question. Because all you've done here is give me a scenario. Okay, what if John Connor is dead, and like he has a disease, like say Cable, and is being looked after by T-800, and what's the question? You set the scenario, Now put in a question, because right now I don't know are you asking me if I think that would be a good idea? Are you asking me if that would make us look differently at the T800? Are you asking me if that would change the narrative of the story? Are you asking, like, I don't know what it is you're asking me. So guys, if you're going to start a question with what if, make sure you put in a question at the end so I know what it is you're asking. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, L Cartoon writes, hey, John, so are there still plans to return to the studio? Just wondering, love your show either way. I've actually answered this a few times, but I'm happy to answer it again. No, we are not going back to the studio. I made the decision a while ago, as I first brought this up a number of weeks ago on the show, that I've made the decision just to go back to doing the John Campea Show full time. I decided to part way. I still love the people of the stream, love everybody over there. It's great. It's just that it kind of became clear we had different visions for where we wanted to go, and it's all good. I mean, I love those people. They love me. It's all great. But I just decided I want to do the John Campea show and just focus on that. And because of that, no, I'm not going back to another studio. Now, I might move into a bigger studio at some point. But if I do, because I have been looking, if I do, that's just going to be me doing it. And I've been looking around. The problem is in Burbank. Oh man, like if I lived 1 hour away in Riverside or Corona, California, out in the Inland Empire, I could get 2,000 square feet for like, I don't know, $1,500 a month or $2,000 a month, most, for a big studio space, set it up great, all that kind of stuff. But to get 2,000 square feet here, like in Burbank or North Hollywood, something like that, I'm looking like at $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month, and I don't have that. I simply don't have that. So that's unfortunate, but I'm really happy with the studio setup we have now. I feel like the shows flow great. I have Robert in here. I have Ashley in here. I mean, not right this second. But no, I'm going to keep doing the show this way until I find studio space that works for me, but that might take a while, or it could happen next month. Who knows? Let's see here. The Shalomi writes, I like that name. It's my 19th birthday. Happy birthday, dude. Been watching since I was 13. Wow. Thank you so much, man. That means you were probably started right around the beginning of, or maybe not the beginning, but in the early stages of the AMC days. Well, happy birthday to you, man. I hope you have a great run surrounded with friends and families doing things you love, and I hope you have a great year ahead of you. Thanks for writing in, man. Philip Almaraz writes, Endgame funeral. Are body doubles with CGI faces? I don't know what it is you're asking. There are no bodies at the, if you're talking about Tony's funeral, there's no bodies. So I'm not quite sure what it is you're asking, Philip. Anyway, Anthony Luculano writes, went to see Godzilla last night and loved it. Long live the king. I'm glad you liked it, man. I'm super happy that you liked it. I'm glad that Robert likes it. I was excited for it. But unfortunately, I have to agree. Let me see if I can pull this up here and see where it's at right now. I have to agree with the majority of the critics on this one. Yeah, yesterday it was at 55%. Today it's dropped down to 42%. Unfortunately, I got to side with the critics on this one. It's got great moments. It's got great moments. But if all I wanted was great moments, you could have cut it down into a 20-minute YouTube video and I could have watched it at home. It was over 2 hours long, most of which was very bad. Guys, I kid you not. They literally had a scene where one of the villains is talking to the good guys over a video message, and they literally had a multimedia presentation ready as they explained their evil plot. I'm not kidding. You can't make this crap up. People in my theater were laughing at it as I was doing it. It was just terribly done. Again, there's about 20 great minutes. When it's monsters fighting monsters, this movie's humming. But to be a good movie, you got to be more than that. You got to have good supporting material around it, and they just didn't. It's just bad. Now, again, Robert loves it. And I think this is going to be a divisive film, which means I think if you haven't seen Godzilla and you've been looking forward to it, I say go see it, because there's a 50-50 chance you're going to like it. Maybe even like it a lot. All I'm saying is, all I can let you guys know is that you know I've been excited about it. You know I've been jumping up and down for it. I was really let down by it. I was quite disappointed. It's not a good movie, in my opinion. But others think it is. Go check it out. Maybe you'll like it just like Anthony did. And Anthony, I'm glad you had a good time, man. I just wish I did. All right. Dangerous Lee writes, fan since 2013. Thank you so much, Dangerous. And Patreon supporter, just saying hi. Well, Dangerous, thank you so much for being a Patreon supporter. That's amazing. And guys, keep your eyes open for those of you who are Patreon supporters. The next installment of the Patreon exclusive podcast, the Best of the Week podcast, that's going to go up tomorrow. I'm probably going to record it once I get to Vegas. So it's going to come a little bit later in the day, because after I finish the John Campea Show, I got to hit the road. But probably once I get to Vegas, I'll record the podcast from out there. So keep your ears open for that. And thank you, all of you, for being Patreon supporters, and specifically to you, Dangerously. I really appreciate it. All right. The One Who Eats Lemons, I like that name, writes, just watched Tucker and Dale versus Evil, and holy balls, it was crazy. I really like that movie. I really like that movie. Actually, let me pull this up here. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. This movie came out, gosh, I want to say 6 years ago. When did it come out? No, it came out like 9 years ago. So it was even longer ago. Alan Tudyk is in it. I love Alan Tudyk. And I've told that story before, but I'll tell it again just really quick. I was at Comic-Con. And I was covering press for some other movies at the time. I wasn't going to the Tucker and Dale versus Evil press stuff, but I was walking through the press area, and there's this big Tucker and Dale versus Evil poster at a door. It meant they were doing interviews in there for Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I was on my way to covering, what was I on my way to cover? It might have been an Avengers movie. I can't remember. Anyway, I was walking my way to cover something else. And I was with my buddy, Chuck Norris. That's his real name, by the way. Chuck Norris is his real name. And I see the poster and I stop and I go, oh, Alan Tudyk's in this. Man, I love Alan Tudyk. And as soon as I said that, he would just happen to be coming around the opposite corner. And like, he's coming around the corner. It's like, man, I love Alan Tudyk. And like, we're face to face just as I'm saying it. Thankfully, I wasn't talking crap about him. But he looks at me and he goes, and then walks in to go do his interview, which was really funny. Guys, if you haven't seen Tucker and Dale versus Evil, super low budget little fun movie though, but it's really, really fun. Check it out if you get a chance. Go watch the trailer on YouTube and I'll think you'll want to check it out. El Cartan writes, hey, John and Rob, have you seen the Rambo Last Blood trailer? Yeah, we talked about it on the show this morning. I'm officially hyped for this movie. Thank you for all you do here. You're both awesome. Well, thank you so much, El Cartoon. And like I said, we did watch it this morning. We talked about it on the John Campea Show this morning, and I talked about it again a little bit earlier in this video. So, yep, I enjoyed it, man. I thought it looked really good. Jeffrey Niffen writes, well, Monsieur Rivers, it appears you have become, how do you say, indispensable? Indispensable. That's what I thought. I got him. I'm stumped. I don't know. That sounds like it would be something from, what's that spoof movie with Val Kilmer? I can't remember the name of it, but I really like that one. It's got him on the cover with a cow. That sounds like it would be something from that, but honestly, I don't know if that's what it's from. You got me stumped on that one, Jeffrey. All right. Brandon L. writes, never thought I'd see Beard Hunter on screen. What? Beard Hunter is, again, guys, that's for a character from Doom Patrol. Guys, I've been singing the praises of this Doom Patrol song. This Doom Patrol show, I should say. It's so nutty. And there's this character named Beard Hunter who, if he eats your beard, yes, you heard that right. If he eats some of your beard clippings, he knows all your innermost secrets, can track you anywhere in the world, blah, blah, blah. It is one of the most ridiculous bonkers thing I've ever seen, but this is a show that is filled with ridiculous bonkers. Just from start to finish, it's amazing. I love this show. If you haven't started checking out Doom Patrol, check it out. Chris Pevoto writes, about Toy Story pacing with buying tickets online, it's like Uber, pure convenience and growing awareness. It'll keep growing and records are only good each year. So what Chris is talking about is one of the topics on the John Campea Show earlier today was that Toy Story just broke the advanced ticket sales opening day record for animated films. Fandango reported this. And that's great and everything. And the previous record holder was Incredibles 2. And that's great. But as I always say, whenever these advanced ticket sales records get broken, it's you got to take it with a grain of salt, because we are in a period of time where it's not just year over year, it's month over month. The rate of people buying tickets early online is growing exponentially fast. So yeah, it's great that Toy Story 4 broke the record, But it's not that big of a deal because more people today are buying their tickets online in advance than ever before. And it's not just that the records are only good for a year. The records are basically only good for a few months right now. Now, in a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, we're going to get close to the peak. It's not going to be growing exponentially anymore. And pretty much everybody will be buying their tickets online. But yeah, it's wonderful. It's awesome that Toy Story 4 hit that record. You just got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. So good point, Chris. All right, Philip Almaraz writes, meant to say our body doubles with actor CJ. Oh, yeah, okay, so I see what you're saying now. At the Tony funeral scene in Endgame, were those actually all the actors standing around at the funeral, or were they body doubles with the actors' faces CGI'd on? I can tell you 100% those were the actors. At the premiere, I actually talked to some of the people involved in the movie, and they said, and Robert Downey Jr. said the most special day for him of filming that movie was that funeral scene, because everybody was together. They had everybody together. It might have been the first time that they actually had everyone together in the same place. And they shot it at this lake. And so, yes, I can tell you for certainty that's not body doubles with CGI faces on them. That's actually all the actors were there. All right, Chris Pavoto writes, go Navy, welcome home USS Mobile Bay to San Diego. I don't know what any of that means. I'm assuming that means there's a big ship called the USS Mobile Bay, and there's a naval base in San Diego. I love looking at the ships when we go to Comic-Con. And I'm guessing they just got pulled in. So I think that's what you're talking about, Chris, but I don't know for sure. Jersey Kid writes, what did you think of the teaser trailer of Dark Crystal Age of Resistance? I can't wait for this. I love the Dark Crystal kid. Again, we talked about this on the John Campea Show this morning. Unfrickin' believable. I loved it. Now, granted, I am predisposed because I love the Dark Crystal. I love it. And I can't believe they made everything look the same. Like, I was afraid they were going to try to update a bunch of stuff. The Skeksis look exactly like they should look. The Gelflings look exactly like they should look. I loved it. I cannot wait for this new show. August 30th. Cannot get here fast enough. Dark Crystal, baby. Dark Crystal. All right. Let's see. Lone Wolf X6 writes, wish we could see the X-Men character magic. Dude, there's a bunch of X-Men characters that, look, I anticipate that when Marvel does start using the X-Men characters, and it's going to be a few years, but when they do, they'll probably start off with a lot of the more well-known ones. That makes sense. That's good strategy. That makes sense. But just like Marvel has dove into more obscure characters with the MCU roster over the years, like whoever heard of Guardians of the Galaxy? I believe that you're going to see Marvel do that with a lot of more obscure, I should say, X-Men characters. But they'll start with more established ones, like they start with the more established MCU characters, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Hawkeye. But once they do, and we get more of the established X-Men in there, I anticipate they'll probably go pretty deep. They'll probably go pretty deep into the more obscure X-Men characters. So magic could be on the menu. It'll be a few years, but I think there's a possibility here. Steve Wynyard writes, Rogue and Mystique as villains in Captain Marvel. Storm could appear in Black Panther, introduce some of them like they did in Black Panther and Civil War. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's how they're going to introduce it, because then you're bringing in mutants without explaining mutants. See, that's the problem. You can bring in a Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is one guy. When you're bringing in, if you're going to bring in a mutant character, you got to explain what the hell mutation is and the fact that there are probably thousands of others out there. So it's a little bit of a different situation. I don't see them. Look, I know very famously for a short period of time, Black Panther and Storm were married in the comics, very famously. But I don't expect them to pursue that. I don't expect them to pursue that. They have Black Panther very happily involved with Lupita Nyong'o's character. I don't see them changing that. So I could see them bringing Storm along. I don't think they're going to do it via Black Panther. It's possible. Rogue, again, that's something you'd have to establish the X-Men first before bringing in those characters into another character's movie, because it wouldn't make any sense. It just wouldn't make any sense. So I don't see them doing that personally. Anything's possible. Who knows what Kevin Feige's got in his head? Maybe he's thinking the exact same thing you are, Steve. I just don't see it right now, but hey, let's find out. All right. Rygane Grainiger writes, possibility on a Doctor Who film. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, man. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why you would do a Doctor Who film. Doctor Who is a ongoing TV series. I don't know why they would do a movie of it. Maybe if they ever cancel the TV series and then like 5 years after that, they decide to do a big feature film, I could see that. Now, I'm the wrong guy to ask because admittedly, I don't watch Doctor Who. So I'm kind of the wrong guy to ask, but I don't see it making a lot of sense of them doing a major motion picture while the series is going on. There is precedent for it. X-Files did it. Simpsons did it. But that's like 2 examples over the past 20 years. So I don't think the chances are very good, at least not while the Doctor Who show is still on the air. All right. Amartya Arkar. Yeah, again, I'm sure I'm butchering the name. I apologize. John and Rob, what if Grant Morrison was writing the New Gods script, not Tom King? And man, I miss Schnepp so much when I heard about the New Gods. Oh, I know. Like Robert mentioned that this morning too, that, you know, this is yet another big thing of news. Talking about New Gods that Schnepp would have loved. Absolutely. But again, you're asking a what if question. Okay, what if Grant Morrison was writing the New Gods script and not Tom King? And what's the question? Are you asking me, would he do characters like this instead of those characters? Are you asking, would the potential for the script be better than if Tom King's doing it? Are you asking, would that make DC go into, like, I don't know what the question is. So look, guys, if you're going to ask a question that starts with what if, make sure there's an actual question attached to it. Imagine you took out the word if, all right? If you ever start a question with what if, take out the word what, and that'll help your mind, because then your question would be, if Grant Morrison was writing the New Gods script, not Tom King, then you would force yourself to ask the actual question, right? Instead of saying, what if Grant, just say, if Grant Morrison was taking the New Gods script, not Tom King, then you know you got to put in a question. So make sure you do that, because I want to make sure I answer the question you're asking. Terry Giordano writes, did you guys see the Star Wars Galaxy Edge ceremony yesterday? Great seeing the gang together again, and can't wait to pilot the Falcon. I did watch bits of it, because Anne had it up on her phone. She was watching it on the phone, so I watched a bunch of it too. But I didn't want to see too much, because I'm going to Galaxy's Edge in 2 weeks. Got my hotel booked, got our time slot booked, the whole bit. Me and Anne are going. And I don't want to see any footage of the Falcon. I don't want to see any footage of the Cantina. I don't want to see any of the footage. I want the first time I see it to be with my own eyes, in person, boots on the ground, and I'm very excited. But the footage I did see of it was a really cool ceremony. It looked really, really fun. All right. Maurice Seifring writes, I've heard the Black Widow movie started filming in Norway. Yes, it did. We talked about that on the John Campea Show the other day. Just in time for a May 1st, 2020 release. Any update on the time frame this movie is set in? No. I saw some rumors floating around, but I don't know if those were ever verified. I would love, Marie, this movie to take place in the 5-year gap between the end of Infinity War and the beginning of Endgame. I would love to see the movie happen in that time frame. It makes a lot of sense. That's a big time frame to work in. That gives you a lot of flexibility. I think that would be fascinating, but they might go earlier than that. So haven't heard any more news on it. As soon as I hear anything that's verifiable, I will let you guys know right away. Okay. Lone Wolf FX6 writes, I drink and I know things. One of the greatest lines. There have been a lot of great Game of Thrones lines, and a lot of great lines specifically from Tyrion Lannister. That, though, is an all-time great. That's an all-time great. Lone Wolf XS writes, if Cain wanted to die so bad, why didn't Lucifer just use the Azrael blade? I've always wondered why they didn't try it. LOL. This is a question about Lucifer. I don't want to give anything away, but that probably wouldn't work because God made it so he can't die. So I don't know that that blade would have done anything. I'm surprised they didn't try it, but I have a feeling it probably wouldn't have worked. I don't want to go into it too much because I don't want to give spoilers away for people who haven't watched the show yet. All right. Eternitine Forever writes, Soul Plane, somebody brought up Soul Plane today. That's the 15th anniversary of Soul Plane. Soul Plane is a masterpiece on par with Man of Steel. Preach, brother. Preach. I couldn't believe, but you know, it's funny because I said a little bit earlier, I guess it makes sense that it's 15 years old, but if somebody had just asked me, hey, quick, pop quiz, how old do you think Soul Plane is? I probably would have guessed 10 years. So it's actually older than that, 15th anniversary. All right. Ed Matthews writes, my friend went to go see Aladdin, but bought a ticket for Endgame so it could keep making a bit of money. That's lame. We've been debating the morality of this. It's not really a morality thing per se, although I guess you could make it a morality question, but it means, congratulations, you're contributing to any record that Endgame makes being fake. By doing that, you've delegitimized its record, if it gets to the record, and it will get to the record. And it would have gotten to the record anyway, but this discussion came up the other day about, somebody asked me, hey, what if I use my A-list to buy a ticket for Endgame and then just don't go? And I said, well, you're running the risk of having AMC cancel your A-list because that's violating the terms of service. But on a more important level, is like, all you're doing is making any Endgame record, you're contributing to the fakeness of the record. And is that what you want? Do you want to have to put an asterisk beside the record? By the way, it made this much money, but we don't know how much money was made just because people bought tickets and didn't really go, just because they wanted to artificially inflate the box office numbers. Sorry, so I don't know why, if you're a fan, why would you want to do that? All you're doing, my argument would simply be, you're contributing to the artificiality, if that's even a right word, artificiality of whatever record Endgames makes. You're making it, you're nudging the needle toward that being an artificial record. Is that what you want to do? Or do you want to make any record it gets to truly be legit and on its own? Anyway, that's what I would say at any rate. All right, Lone Wolf X6 writes, who is the better villain, Slade or Reverse Flash? It's a tough choice. I'd say it is. Look, Reverse Flash in the Flash show is a great villain. We were just talking about him the other day. He's a terrific villain. But Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, played by Manu Bennett in the Arrowverse, is the best villain they've ever had in any of the Arrowverse shows. Why they made the Arrowverse stop using him is still beyond me, but he's the best villain and one of the best characters that the Arrowverse has ever had, and it's really a shame that they stopped using him. All right, Lone Wolf X6 writes, you possess true courage. I am truly sorry you did not pass it on to your son, Slade Wilson. I think that's when he was killing Oliver's mother. That was an unbelievable episode. Strong, emotional, gut-wrenching. It was a great episode. Stubble McShave writes, could Nat prequel set up X-Men Jean with SP? I don't know what you mean. Drug MacGuffin? Nah, that would completely undermine what mutation is. If they made mutation a fake thing, a man-made thing, that goes totally against the underpinning mythology of X-Men, that mutation is a part of human evolution. If they kind of threw that out the window, I don't think X-Men fans would be very happy at all. So I'd vote against that, Stubble, to be honest with you. Lone Wolf X6 writes, because I am the only speedster that knows how to manipulate the timeline and get what I want. I gotta say, I love the Wells Reverse Flash. I do love him. But I do find myself getting kind of annoyed that he only seems to know how to talk like this. Come on, you got a real voice, use it. Valhalla Erickson writes, what live action film / TV show would you like to see get remade into a comic book series? None. I've always thought Sky High would be best explored in a comic format. It's possible. Look, I enjoy comic books. I've read a hell of a lot of them in my life, but I'm more of a TV and video guy. So I'm more usually looking, to be honest with you, at comic material that can be brought to the screen rather than the reverse. But hey, you know what? If you're going to mention one, Sky High, that could be an interesting one. I think that's a really good pick, Valhalla. All right, next up, Ben Rayner writes, LK photos look legit and awesome. Sorry, Ben, I don't know what LK is, so I don't know what it is we're talking about. Sorry about that. All right, guys. That will do it for this installment of the companion videos. We're now all caught up to date on all the questions you guys sent in on the John Campea Show earlier today. Don't forget, guys, once again, the John Campea Show is back tomorrow morning. Make sure you come and join me for that. And also, don't forget, there is no open mic on Saturday, but there will be one on Sunday. So now you know what the schedule is for the weekends. Guys, thank you so much for sending in all these questions, not just because you've sent in some great topics and fun stuff for us to talk about, but also because by sending them, you're supporting the channel. And it's awesome that you guys actually support the content that you guys enjoy watching. So thank you so much for that, guys. All right, that'll do it for me. Thanks a lot for being here, guys. My name is John Campea, and until the next video, bye-bye.